Traore wants his movement to survive and succeed. There are dangerous habits and mistakes he must stop immediately, so that what happened to his predecessors will not happen to him. Traore stands at that same crossroads today, over-centralizing control, relying too heavily on foreign backers, and ignoring the daily struggles of ordinary people are traps that have swallowed revolutions before. The world is watching, and so are the people of Africa, who are hungry not just for slogans, but for real change that touches their lives.
Since ascending to power in 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has positioned himself as a beacon of Pan-Africanism and a staunch opponent of neo-colonial influence. His bold moves, expelling French forces, nationalizing key industries, and forging new alliances have garnered both admiration and criticism across the continent. However, beneath the surface of revolutionary rhetoric lies a series of actions that must be hindering his visions for a sovereign and prosperous Burkina Faso. This is Fedosky's Space. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well and subscribe to be getting information about news happening around the world. In this video, we delve into the critical missteps that President Ibrahim Traore must address to truly succeed in his mission. So let's explore 3 things Ibrahim Traore must stop doing in his struggle in order to succeed.
Captain Ibrahim Traore has stormed onto Africa's political stage like a whirlwind, young, defiant, and determined to free Burkina Faso from the grip of neocolonial powers. Across the continent, millions cheer his boldness. But behind the fiery speeches and revolutionary energy lies a hard truth. If Traore wants his movement to survive and succeed, there are dangerous habits and mistakes he must stop immediately, so that what happened to his predecessors will not happen to him. History is full of leaders who started as heroes but fell because they clung to power, silenced critics, or let corruption creep in. Traore stands at that same crossroads today, over-centralizing control, relying too heavily on foreign backers, and ignoring the daily struggles of ordinary people are traps that have swallowed revolutions before. The world is watching, and so are the people of Africa, who are hungry not just for slogans, but for real change that touches their lives. If Traore wants to be remembered not as a passing storm, but as the leader who truly turned Africa's page, he must act now, stop repeating old mistakes, and clear the path for a new future. The revolution is alive, but its survival depends on what he stops today. 1. Captain Traore must stay out of the spotlight to continue the fight. Captain Ibrahim Traore has become the face of defiance in Africa, a young leader challenging foreign dominance and calling for true independence. His fiery speeches, military fatigues, and bold appearances have electrified crowds from New York to London. But as his profile rises, so do the dangers. If Traore truly wants to survive and lead his revolution to victory, he must now do something counterintuitive. Step back from the public stage to protect himself and the movement. Every public appearance, every rally, every live address makes him a bigger target. Intelligence agencies, foreign mercenaries, and internal enemies are all watching and plotting. Assassination attempts have already been rumored, and history shows what happens to revolutionary leaders who become too exposed. Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Muammar Gaddafi. The pattern is chillingly clear. Traore's strength should no longer come from his presence in the streets, but from his strategic mind and his ability to outmaneuver his enemies. He must build strong institutions, empower trusted allies, and appear less predictable. By stepping back physically while tightening his grip politically, he can make it harder for enemies to strike and easier for the revolution to endure. The fight for Africa's liberation doesn't need more photos or televised speeches. It needs a living leader. Traore's survival is now the revolution's survival. It's time to move from the spotlight into the command room, where real power is protected and deployed wisely. Only then can he win the long game. 2. Stop collaboration with countries that are allies to Western nations. Captain Ibrahim Traore has emerged as a bold and defiant figure on the African stage. His rise to power signaled a break from decades of foreign domination and economic dependency that have crippled Burkina Faso and much of the Sahel. With his calls for resource sovereignty, military self-reliance, and Pan-African solidarity, Traore has inspired millions who dream of a free and empowered Africa. But as his revolution faces growing pressure from foreign powers, internal rivals, and regional bodies, Traore stands at a critical crossroads. To strengthen his position and secure lasting change, he must carefully choose his alliances, focusing on partnerships that respect Burkina Faso's sovereignty and share its vision for African self-determination. The truth is, for too long, Burkina Faso and many African nations have been caught in a web of unequal partnerships. Aid programs that come with political strings, military assistance that undermines national control, and economic deals that extract rather than invest. These are the hallmarks of alliances built not for Africa's benefit, but for the interests of foreign powers. Traore's revolution cannot survive if it repeats these patterns, even with new partners who quietly serve old masters. The challenge Traore faces is subtle but crucial. While rejecting obvious neocolonial forces, he must also avoid partnerships with countries that are deeply tied to the very systems he seeks to break. Many nations, while appearing neutral or even friendly, maintain close military, economic, or political alliances with Western powers that still see Africa as a resource base rather than a partner. If Traore wants to build true independence, he must ensure that Burkina Faso's future is not shaped by deals that compromise its sovereignty behind closed doors. Instead, Traore should prioritize building new partnerships based on mutual respect and shared goals. These include alliances with nations that support Africa's right to control its resources, set its own political course, and develop without external coercion. Emerging powers in the global south, from Latin America to Asia, offer opportunities for collaboration that are not weighed down by colonial histories in Africa. Countries like Brazil, India, Indonesia, and even some within Africa itself can provide models of South-South cooperation that empower rather than exploit. Crucially, Traore should also deepen ties with grassroots movements, civil society organizations, and Pan-African networks. Real power lies not just in deals between governments, but in solidarity among the people. By aligning Burkina Faso's struggle with the broader movement for African liberation, Traore can build a shield against foreign interference that no army can match: the will of Africa's youth, workers, and farmers who are hungry for change. This does not mean Traore must isolate Burkina Faso from the world. Isolation breeds weakness. Instead, it means becoming selective and strategic. Every partnership must pass a simple test. Does it strengthen Burkina Faso's self-reliance and dignity, or does it create new forms of dependency? Does it bring skills, technology, and opportunities that stay in Burkina Faso, or does it siphon wealth and control out of the country? Moreover, Traore must ensure that his government practices transparency in foreign deals. The mistakes of the past, where secret agreements enriched elites while leaving the people in poverty, must not be repeated. By opening negotiations to public scrutiny and involving local experts and communities, Traore can build trust at home while signaling to the world that Burkina Faso is no longer for sale. It is ready to partner, but only on equal footing. The path Traore is walking is not easy. Powerful forces will continue to pressure him to compromise, to accept deals that look good on paper, but carry hidden costs. But history shows that leaders who stand firm on principles, who choose the hard road of independence over the easy road of subservience, leave lasting legacies. Thomas Sankara, whose spirit many see in Traore, famously said, "He who feeds you controls you." Traore must expand this vision. He who partners with you should also respect you. If Captain Traore can resist the lure of convenient but compromising alliances, and instead build a network of partnerships rooted in mutual empowerment, Burkina Faso can become more than a symbol. It can become a beacon for a new Africa. An Africa where resources serve the people, where foreign policy serves sovereignty, and where alliances are tools for liberation, not chains of control. The revolution has already begun, but to win the future, Traore must be as disciplined in choosing his partners as he has been in challenging his foes. By doing so, he can secure not only Burkina Faso's freedom, but inspire an entire continent to rise. 3. He should stop the centralization of power and embrace decentralization. Captain Ibrahim Traore has captured the imagination of millions across Africa. Young, bold, and defiant, he has become the face of a new struggle for sovereignty and dignity in Burkina Faso. But while his revolutionary energy has shaken foreign powers and rallied the people, the next chapter of his leadership will require a deeper kind of transformation, one that goes beyond fiery speeches and military control. If Traore truly wants to build a fair, united, and lasting nation, he must decentralize power and place it in the hands of the people. For decades, Burkina Faso's fate has been decided in the capital, Ouagadougou, by small elites, whether military or civilian, while the rural regions and local communities have been left powerless. This centralization has bred inequality, corruption, and disconnection between the government and the people it claims to serve. Traore now has a golden opportunity to change that pattern forever. By decentralizing power, Traore can empower local governments, traditional leaders, and community organizations to take charge of their own development. Decisions about schools, healthcare, resource management, and security should not be dictated from distant offices, but crafted by the people who live the reality every day. This will not only make governance more efficient, but will restore dignity and trust between citizens and the state. Decentralization also weakens the grip of those who might one day turn Traore's revolution into yet another dictatorship. History shows that revolutions fail when power is concentrated in a few hands. By spreading authority across the country, Traore can build institutions that survive beyond any one leader, ensuring that Burkina Faso remains strong even after he steps aside. Moreover, giving regions greater control will help unite the diverse ethnic and cultural groups within Burkina Faso. Instead of competing for favor from the center, communities can collaborate on local solutions while contributing to national goals. This inclusivity is the foundation of lasting peace and national pride. But decentralization must be done right. It requires clear laws, financial transparency, and capacity building so that local authorities are prepared and accountable. Traore must lead this process with the same courage he showed in challenging foreign domination, showing that true liberation begins at home, with people governing themselves. If Ibrahim Traore embraces decentralization, he will not only secure his place as a revolutionary, but as a nation builder. He will move Burkina Faso from protest to progress, from military rule to people's power. And in doing so, he will offer a model for all of Africa, a continent where sovereignty means not just rejecting foreign control, but ensuring every citizen has a voice in their destiny. The time is now. A fair and great nation is built not by concentrating power at the top, but by spreading it wide, so that every Burkinabe can stand tall. Traore has started the revolution. Decentralization will complete it. To conclude, if Captain Ibrahim Traore truly wants to lead Burkina Faso into a new era, he must stop walking the dangerous path that has trapped so many before him. He must stop overexposing himself, stop centralizing power, stop tolerating corruption, and stop making alliances that compromise his nation's independence. The revolution he sparked will only survive if he learns to lead with strategy, humility, and vision, not just force. By halting these missteps now, Traore can shift from being a momentary rebel to becoming a lasting architect of Africa's freedom. The future is his, if he chooses wisely.